Neville Goddard, Prayer, the Art of Believing, Chapter 6, Good Tidings. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publish peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation. A very effective way to bring good tidings to another is to call before your mind's eye the subjective image of the person you wish to help and have him affirm that he has done that which you desired him to do. Mentally hear him tell you that he has done it. This awakens within him the vibratory correlate of the state affirmed, which vibration persists until its mission is accomplished. It does not matter what it is you desire to have done or whom you select to do it. I said in the last video I was going to tell you what time 3 videos ago, I sent a message to a person to text me, a friend of mine, and he did text last night at approximately 6:54. I said it was 8 o'clock, but I think I recorded that video earlier in the day, maybe before noontime, and I sent that to send me a text or a call, but I got the text at 6:54. Forgot to put that in the end of my last video, so there it is. Exactly on the same subject we're referring to. Let's repeat back a sentence. This awakens within him the vibratory correlate of the state affirmed, which vibration persists until its mission is accomplished. It does not matter what it is you desire to have done or whom you select to do it. As soon as you subjectively affirm that it is done, results follow. This very, very fascinating whole piece right here. It is the bridge of incidents where people are like automatons in your favor. They come together and just march. And they seem to have that one mission that you have imagined lovingly for in their purpose. It's very fascinating. But let me repeat a piece of this because we're going down that road. A very effective way to bring good tidings to another is to call before your mind's eye the subjective image of the person you wish to help and have him affirm that he has done that which you desired him to do. Mentally hear him tell you that he has done it. This awakens within him the vibratory correlate of the state affirmed, which vibration persists until its mission is accomplished. This is the part. Which vibration persists until its mission is accomplished. It does not matter what it is you desire to have done or whom you select to do it. As soon as you subjectively affirm that it is done, results follow. Failure can only result if you fail to accept the truth of your assertion or if the state affirmed would not be desired by the subject for himself or another. In the latter event, the state would realize itself in you, the operator. I have to bring it up. So my wife was working, this was a year ago at least, and she was going to work and she had these multiple deadlines. And when she left the house, I was imagining lovingly that she was walking back in. I had my eyes closed, basically. I was imagining her walking back in, telling me all the deadlines were met, or that the deadlines, this one was met, that one's going to be met, and this other one looks good. So I imagined her walking back in the house later in the evening, and her telling me, you're not going to believe it, all the deadlines were met. And I would do that. And it happened over multiple weeks and months. And what would affect her job on the other end of it, that those deadlines were met, was that the parties involved were, a lot of employees would choose to voluntarily work overtime, which the company would request of them. So there was like automatons, literally. They went into 12-hour shifts 7 days a week, and they were just accomplishing the tasks to get these goals met. But it was the imagining lovingly that was set forth. After she would leave, then I would imagine it, and then I would imagine later. And then when she came in later and she did say such, then I would congratulate her. I would actually literally go, congratulations, high five, or I would hug her. I use high five as a confirmation that, hey, that came from somewhere. But the whole idea is that the objective kept, the subjective imagining became objective each and every time. She became a rising star there at that job, which was very wonderful for what we're talking about right now. And this is a good place for you to take the idea and run with it. Use it for yourself. The seemingly harmless habit of talking to yourself is the most fruitful form of prayer. A mental argument with the subjective image of another is the surest way to pray for an argument. You are asking to be offended by the other when you objectively meet. He is compelled to act in a manner displeasing to you unless before the meeting you countermand or modify your order by subjectively affirming a change. Very possible and very probable if you just do it. Unfortunately, man forgets his subjective arguments, his daily mental conversations with others, and so is at a loss for an explanation of the conflicts and misfortunes of his life. As mental arguments produce conflicts, so happy mental conversations produce corresponding visible states of good tidings. Man creates himself out of his own imagination. Tattoo that on your forehead. Man creates himself out of his own imagination. That reminds me of the Seth material. You create your own reality. There's a lot of responsibility in either one of those statements. The former, man creates himself out of his own imagination. The latter, you create your own reality. Responsibility is at play here, big time. If the state desired is for yourself, and you find it difficult to accept as true what your senses deny, call before your mind's eye the subjective image of a friend and have him mentally affirm that you are already that which you desire to be. He's telling you, congratulations. You hear his voice congratulating you. This establishes in him, without his conscious consent or knowledge, the subjective assumption that you are that which he mentally affirmed. Which assumption, because it is unconsciously assumed, will persist until it fulfills its mission. Big bomb drop right there. If you find, I'm gonna repeat the whole piece, but understand that it will continue until its mission is accomplished within you. Let's repeat the whole piece. If the state desired is for yourself, I am healthy, I am in love and married, I am wealthy, I am free. Okay, any state. We know all states are available. In my Father's house are many mansions. I am all that is God. These are all different states. All are available. Any of them can be occupied by you, me, her, anybody can occupy any state. These are all states. Any of them are available to you, especially when you know someone else is occupying them, then it's occupiable. If you're here and you're a thousandaire and you want to be here, you want to be a millionaire, is there somebody in that state? If the answer is yes, then it's occupiable by not only you, but anybody else. And there's another state that's a trillionaire. If that state is occupied by somebody right now, it means anybody can occupy that state. This is not your only limitation to life. You can occupy any state that exists. In my Father's house are many mansions. You can occupy any state. If the state desired is for yourself, and you find it difficult to accept as true what your senses deny, call before your mind's eye the subjective image of a friend and have him mentally affirm that you are already that which you desire to be. He's congratulating you. He or she's congratulating you. Hey man, I just heard about your new opportunity and your whatever. I just heard that you just came into a lot of money. That's great news. I just heard about your new business opportunity. I just heard about your new investment. I just heard you just had an inheritance. It doesn't matter. Just have the basics. I just heard that you have come into a lot of money. When he affirms in your mentally, then he is staking the claim in you of your newfound wealth. Let's say that wealth is a subject. This establishes in him, without his conscious consent or knowledge, the subconscious assumption that you are that which he mentally affirmed, which assumption, because it is unconsciously assumed, will persist until it fulfills its mission. It's like a marching automaton within you. Its mission is to awaken you. Its mission is to awaken in you its vibratory correlate, which vibration, when awakened in you, realizes itself as an objective fact. You become that which you mentally, subjectively saw him congratulating you on your newfound wealth. It will march along until the objectification and its effect. It won't stop. You push it and it keeps going. It's going to be in motion until. Another very effective way to pray for oneself is to use the formula of Job, who found that his own captivity was removed as he prayed for his friends. Now, I don't know how important there could be another chapter that is more important than this chapter, because once you realize how this works and you apply it for yourself, because that's where you want to experience it, to see it work, this chapter is a page and a half. I'm not done, by the way, I'm just halfway through, but the point is, this is very, very important. You must see yourself operate this law and reward it to yourself, so you can see when you give those rewards to others that they are going to be found. They're not going to be unfound. They're going to be found. When you reward yourself, even by your friends congratulating you on anything, on a pizza, doesn't matter. And I know I'm being facetious again, but nothing can be more important than to see the subjective realization of objective fact, which is your new reality. Another very effective way to pray for oneself is to use the formula of Job, who found that his own captivity was removed as he prayed for his friends. Fix your attention on a friend and have the imaginary voice of your friend tell you that he is or has that which is comparable to that which you desire to be or have. Okay, back to wealth. My friend called me and told me that he won the horse races that he was at. And he won the trifecta. I don't know the horse racing terminology, but I do have a friend who loves the horses. He calls me and tells me that he won the trifecta, and he came into a large sum of money. Larger than he's ever come into. I hear that. Oh, I just lifted the tide right there among that friend. Again, we're focused on wealth. I have another friend who's looking for that new job, and you imagine lovingly for him, you convince yourself, he's calling you, telling you about the new job, making 25% more than he made before, working probably half as hard on that job, and he starts next Monday. Boom, the tide is lifted here, the tide is lifted here. You've mentally heard the conversations. The tide's lifting. This is what Job did. This is how Job freed himself. As you mentally hear and see him, feel the thrill of his good fortune and sincerely wish him well. I am so glad to hear that. That is great news. Congratulations. See yourself high-fiving. Congratulations. This awakens in him the corresponding vibration of the state affirmed, which vibration must then objectify itself as a physical fact. It must objectify itself as a physical fact. It isn't possibly, it must. It must. We are going to cross into, and the why I like discussing the Seth material with this Neville material is that in the Seth material, there's a phrase called probable realities. Here in the Neville material, all of his creations are done. It's the same thing. You're looking at these as all probable realities, then they all exist. Every version of you is also just one probable version of all of them that do already exist. In the Neville version, all of his creations are done. The version of you that is living as a thousandaire is also living as a millionaire and as a trillionaire. The only thing we're trying to bring together here and subjectively impress upon ourselves is the vibration of that quality that we want to exist in, which is just another probable reality, or it's another one of his creations that are done. All we're doing is changing the vibration of that which is our self-concept, that vibration, into the vibration of this self-concept. Repeating that sentence, this awakens in him the corresponding vibration of the state affirmed, which vibration must then objectify itself as a physical fact. You will discover the truth of the statement. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. The quality of mercy is twice blessed. It blesses him who taketh and him who giveth. My friend who just won at the racetrack and my friend who got the new job making 25% more money and is also going to be working much less effort. They taketh and then they giveth. It blesses him who taketh and him who giveth. Ah, doesn't it sound wonderful? Isn't it such a relief just to know that? Just to know that. How hard is it to pass on the blessings? The good you subjectively accept as true of others will not only be expressed by them, but a full share will be realized by you. Man, that's massive. A full share will be realized by you. If you need to, bust out your memo book. I don't have mine right here, but I've gone as far as trying to write down all my nieces and nephews and all their children's names, and I'll run through them. I've done this imagining lovingly, where I'll go through a neighborhood of friends and where they live, and I'll just do a blessing on that one and on that one, and how that one's doing so much better, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'll just literally in my mind fly over the neighborhood and visit a house. Where a friend used to be, because I'll just go through a neighborhood where I grew up, and I can imagine each person I know, and I can pass a blessing that way. Do it in whatever way you find comfortable, that you can do that for your nieces, your nephews, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, everybody. Maybe make a list. You have some pages that have your siblings and you have their children. And you one morning do this section of the family, the next morning do that section, or before you go to sleep. This is not hard to do, but those blessings you're passing along are coming to you. You're tied in. When you send that blessing to anybody else, you're tied in to where it came from. That subjective impression will go into consciousness, which will be picked up and realized. It won't stop. It won't stop marching. It will come to be. Therefore, you raise that tide for everybody around you, and that tide gets raised for you. Consciousness also accepts as true, subjectively for you, the same. You can see why the golden rule is so important now. The good you subjectively accept as true of others will not only be expressed by them, but a full share will be realized by you. Transformations are never total. Force A is always transformed into more than a force B. A blow with a hammer produces not only a mechanical concussion, but also heat, electricity, a sound, a magnetic change, and so on. The vibratory correlate in the subject is not the entire transformation of the sentiment communicated. The gift transmitted to another is like the divine measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, so that after the 5,000 are fed from the 5 loaves and 2 fish, 12 baskets full are left over. I do not know if there is a more important chapter in all of the material. Each one's my favorite. Good Tidings, chapter 6, Prayer, the Art of Believing. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful chapter. There is some good uns in here. Oh my gosh. The formula of Job, I think, is one that can't be ignored. Okay, let me call this one my favorite. He found that his own captivity was removed as he prayed for his friends. I mean, there could be nothing more obvious than raising the tide. You raise the tide for any of your friends, and it doesn't matter that it's just money. It could also be love. Here we have a friend that's in love. Excuse my artistic renderings. And this doesn't mean two loves. This means fully in love. This is the love capacity that you are in now. Then you bless that onto your friend Or this is the love capacity of you now single, and you know that you're a loving person, and you want to be in love with another. Okay? Then you want to give that love to an offspring. There's the Trinity, Father, the Mother, and the Son. All of these are going to raise the tide. You have also, I don't even know the symbol for wealth, or could I draw it? I think it's a snake around a cross. I don't know what it is, but that could be wealth. Health. It could be the same thing. You are healthy, and you wish upon your significant other healthiness, and so on. Health, wealth, wisdom, love, freedom. You raise the tide all around, and everything will float with that, including yourself. I think that is very profound. The formula of Job. Oh, great chapter. Prayer of the Art of Believing, chapter 6. Good Tidings. Man, oh man. All right, we'll see you in the next chapter.